Hey, it's Brian Quain of Reason to Believe. I was recently diagnosed as neurodivergent, and I've been on a journey to understand what this means for me. In the process, I realized there's an opportunity to connect with others who share the same desire to learn more about being on the spectrum. So sit back and enjoy stories from my friends, my guests, myself, and the incredible journeys shared on these episodes. You'll hear about obstacles faced, victories achieved, struggles overcome, but most importantly, our passion for belonging and connection. We are wired differently, but thriving always. Reason to Believe is the reason we are proudly autistic. Now, welcome to the show. Hello, friends. Welcome to a different kind of episode that we're going to be doing, and this one's called Q&A. Right? Quain and Autism. I can get away with that. That's probably the good thing about having a last name like Quain. With that Q, I could put it right there to the Q&A. So Quain and Autism. What this is going to be is basically Q&A, questions and answers, right? But I'm going to put my little spin on it with my name, so I thought that would be awesome. But what this is going to be is basically a half hour or more, and I'm going to answer 3 or 4 questions. And this is basically coming from you, the listener, the followers, the subscribers, the downloaders. And if you haven't done that yet and you just found us on the socials, we're everywhere. It's Reason to Podcast. Now, as much as we're Reason to Believe podcast, I just thought it was fun to have Reason to Podcast because it shortens the whole Reason to Believe podcast as a bigger name. But also Reason to Believe might actually make it just sound like something that it isn't. I love the idea of Reason to Believe. I love the song Reason to Believe by Bruce Springsteen off the album Nebraska. And that is actually how I named the podcast. And that is not a question that comes up when I asked, hey, I'm going to be doing this episode. And a few of you answered. So I picked 3 of those questions and then maybe a bonus. But to be honest, people do ask, why Reason to Believe? And it is that it was the night before the election last year, and I just needed a name for the podcast, and I was listening to Springsteen's Nebraska on the walk with Rigby. You will always see Rigby, even though we have 3 dogs. Rigby is the puppy still, and I take him for his walks. And it was the night before the election, and I was listening to Nebraska, and right before we got home, rounding third, I heard the song. It was on random, and Reason to Believe came on, and that was it. It just did something to me, and I thought to myself, at the end of every hard day, we all find some reason to believe, and there we are. So maybe I just answered your question in your brain while you're listening. So what this is kind of boring because it's just me, but not only me. I'm bringing 3 or 4 of you on board because what this Q&A is going to be is it's my brain. And one of the questions I appreciate, Julie did say, one of our followers, listeners, and one of our amazing friends, thank you. Julie did say journey. And so when I read this question, I am going to accurately quote anybody, it is going to be. So I'm not rewording it, paraphrasing it to sound like, oh, this might sound better if I do this. No, I really want to say thank you to everybody who did reach out and put themselves out there to say, like, I do want to know more of what you're doing. And it is now 2 months into this podcast. We've had amazing interviews, and I want to say a happy birthday to Coral, our first interview. Coral is having a birthday today or tomorrow. I think it's today. It's Tuesday, so she's having a birthday, I think, today. And it's amazing to see how we're all doing our best right now with everything that's crazy that's going on in the world. I'm giving all my love to so many of my friends out there that are in LA, Los Angeles, because not only did we have fires a few months ago, but we're seeing what's happening right now. And as this city is still building from the fires that happened and all that shit that happened there, now we're putting in more people coming, and you know what's going on, and it's just heartbreaking. And if you're listening to this, let's say this Wednesday, as we are having the numbers show that we are having listeners within within 24 hours of me posting, and it's crazy, and I love you for it. But you might find this a year from now and go, man, that was crazy. Do you remember when that happened? And yeah, we do. So 5 minutes in, I think this is a good heads up of what we're doing here when it comes to Q&A. And Yeah, so let's just start because again, I want to make this short and sweet, and I want to make sure like we do get all the questions in and out and everything like that. So, one of my favorite people that's been doing podcasting for a while, Jason's doing an amazing thing, and he's over at The Marinade. And what I love about The Marinade and what Jason does is that he actually has storytelling as well. It's conversations with creative people in a creative way. And so I thank Jason a lot. And I was hoping he would ask a question because he works so hard at what he does. And I think it's fantastic. And he was in Atlanta when he asked this question, one of my favorite cities. And what's crazy is I get to see Run the Jewels tonight. We're going to record some video on it because I'm not ready for the show. It's going to be a big show. It's Wu-Tang, Run the Jewels, and I bring up Run the Jewels because Atlanta, and you gotta love Killer Mike, you gotta love Jamie LP. These are two great artists who bring so many creative minds together whenever they make an album, and they're just politically on the right place and doing amazing rap and hip hop. So Porter's gonna join me for this too. He's knocking over things. I apologize. So, Jason over at The Marinade, he asks, what are some successes you're enjoying with the show? This podcast, I haven't even had time to really kind of sit down and write out any answers. I'm just going to say it right off. Well, that's where my brain goes. So why not, right? Let's be honest. So, what are some successes is being able to do this again. I had a couple successful podcasts, and it is usually about storytelling, but what's successful about this is the fact that I'm understanding more about my brain. And the success is all the years of being called stupid, slow, retarded, the words, so many words I hate, so many triggering words, hyperactive, spaz, all this, and finally having an answer of why I was being called these things. And that was from family alone. So let's be honest. It wasn't like friends, or it wasn't like, we're watching a PSA in the 80s about bullying. Bullying really, I don't think was a thing. I got along with everybody. I got along with so many people. Even, after school, just doing stuff when I had a record store, if I'm being on tour, or if I'm working on a film or being in film festival settings. I think it was just something like I never was not bullied, but now when I start telling people what's going on in the diagnosis, and in the last few months of saying, hey, it's been 9 months now, and everybody kind of just does the, oh yeah, well, I knew. So the success for me is now being able to be where I'm understanding my brain and now bringing people on board. Now, the other huge success is Casey and I have been together for 3.5 years, and it's one of those things where it's okay to have the person that I'm with to sit down with you as well and to say, this is what Brian does. This is how Brian acts. This is when Brian had a meltdown. This is when Brian has a meltdown. This is when Brian it is being used for not just good, but like successes in when we're playing. Just the last episode we did about gaming, so there's things that do come out that I'm actually really happy with. And I just want to say it's still hard. It is still hard. That deep breath right there. You heard that, right? So maybe I should do what I kind of start every interview with, is take like a deep breath with every question and say, what is a success? And go, ooh, and a success is definitely meeting so many amazing people that are willing to open up and actually ask questions that I'm about to answer. And it's crazy. Bringing some old school friends back that, my buddy Michael, man, that was instant reconnection. And I mean, we were best of friends at the age of 14 and 15, inseparable in many ways. And now that we're back in each other's lives, and he's gonna be on this show due to his ASD, and there's just a lot going on in Michael's life that I think he needs to tell his story. And yeah, it's rough. It's rough because I did hear a lot of it, but the success there is he was open to tell me what he's going through, and that's a huge success. On my part, that makes me feel good because I am still a true friend to him, but at the same time, The success is having many of you open up. And damn, I am not your therapist. I'm not your doctor. I'm just somebody that wants to tell stories. And again, we're not textbook autism. We are downright, here's a story. It's, maybe this helps too. There's a lot of people that are in recovery programs, right? AA, NA, things like that, the anonymous programs. And I was raised in there. So maybe that's where, since the age of 8, I was then forced to go into different recovery rooms because of my family. And when my dad passed away of a drug overdose, that was huge. It was just like, make sure Brian doesn't do drugs. Well, congratulations, y'all. Still clean. Marijuana helped a little, but at the same time, never touched a hard drug in my life, and I'm proud of that. So when it comes to it, though, the rooms were so storytelling, and I learned so much about my own self, being young and then going in my teenage years and adolescence and all that shit, that I learned so much about people and what people get out of it, and that's storytelling. So, again, we're not your doctors and we're not your textbook autism. It will come up, obviously. I know what the hell I'm talking about because I do a lot of research and it's my brain and I want to. So thank you. The success is being able to be here right now and do this with everybody, and you are getting something out of it. And I love that. So, our buddy Aaron, and this is coming from Canada. Hell yeah. So I want to say thank you to Canada. I want to say thank you. This is coming from Aaron, and I want to say, I find my ADHD comes with pretty severe hyperfixation. Oy vey. Do you have this trait? Yes. And how do you combat that? But here's the thing about hyperfixation. I always have known I've had it. And I never thought of combating it. I never thought of stopping it because I always thought if I'm going to play a video game, like Fallout, oh man, I'm going to pass that. I'm going to do amazing. When it came to making a film, the few films that I've been able to write, direct, produce, holy cow, like honestly, putting all my faith in making sure we're 50-50, 50% of the cast and crew female, the other 50% being male, and being able just to hyper focus, making sure everything's running smooth. And I always love the fact that, having so many different aspects from different creative minds like that in different people was always something I loved. Hyperfixation of being on tour. I always had my camera on me, but it was one of those things, making sure the bands were always okay. Like, driving, I could hyper focus, listen to an album, or, this was before podcasts or audiobooks. I would just listen to an album, hyper focus on the drive, and make sure that we got to the next city okay. That was awesome. But when it comes to hyperfixation of just normal everyday life, I got to be honest with you, it's something that I've always put towards good. Now, hyperfixation when it comes to when I feel that I'm scared or when it's not good is times like happening right now. I'm hyper focused on, I'm not watching the news at all. But let's be honest, news doesn't come from your DirecTV, Hulu Live, or any of your major networks, right? It's what we scroll through right now, our algorithms. And, I'm seeing a lot less people getting onto our social media platforms because it is such a wasteland of wastefulness. But we're here for you. And if it comes to a point where it doesn't have to have ads, something like Threads is a great thing that follows your algorithm of what you want. But it still becomes a news outlet, and I hyper fixate on that. And so when Casey comes home at night and it's like an hour before bed, oh shit, man, like either King of the Hill is still on, Bob's Burgers is still on in the background. Even though I've memorized every single episode, it's still one of those things where I'm going, man, I mean, me watching King of the Hill right now is impossible because yes, there is the reboot coming out in August, but it's impossible for me right now knowing that, one of my good friends, her best friend was Brittany Murphy. And I remember being there when Brittany Murphy passed and she found out. I did not know anything about King of the Hill. But then, you had Johnny Hardwick just pass about a year ago, who does the voice of Dale. The one that hurts the most is Jonathan Joss right now, due to the hate crime and the homophobia that's going on, and that's a murder in every step of, like, that's what's happening. And so I hyperfixate on that. And so some things like that where my brain wants to, but how do I combat it, is I use it for good. I'll speak here and I'll tell you right now, if you're homophobic, stop listening right now. If you are in any way racist or anti-Semite, well, I'm a fucking Jew. Get the hell out of here. So that's not me being political. That's just me bringing in the right people. If you want to be here to listen to stories about people that are on the spectrum, and I'm not here to fix anybody, you're not broken. I'm learning that more and more every day, that I'm not broken. I'm just here to tell you, you have a safe space and a safe place with us. And if that's what you want, step up, because we have virtual arms hugging you. We have our voices that are soothing you. And even though I know I have an annoying voice, at the same time, I hope you can definitely get over that and understand what really is going on here. And that is, autism is not something that is ever going to be cured. We know this, so shut up, Brian. At the same time, I combat it with bringing in the positivity and the love, and that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to make sure, if you're watching the show like The Pit, I do want you to know that Mel King is damn awesome. If you're going to read a book right now and you're like, hey, I need a good true crime or something that's fun, Stephen King did put you in that element of a Holly Gibney. She's an amazing character on the spectrum. Listen to that. Listen to Mr. Mercedes and go all the way to the new book, Never Flinch. She's in 7 books, and Holly had her own story in a book called Holly that came out almost 2 years ago. So I combat it with a lot of music. A lot of music. What are some of your favorite bands? Tell me. Go onto Instagram right now. Maybe I'll post something of like, what are some bands that you listen to? But honestly, I listen to everything, and that's what I think is amazing about something like The Marinade. What I love is that there's such great folk country that's coming out, alt country that comes out of Jason's brain that he does over there at The Marinade. And honestly, at the same time, though, his passion is so great about music that it doesn't just land on that genre. So I love it, love it, love it. So yeah, hyperfixation is on everything that I do, to be honest. And, routine helps me too. Like with my ASD, my routine definitely helps me go, all right, don't hyper-focus, because it's going to be an 11 o'clock at any minute. You need to eat, and it's going to be probably 1:30. That's the time of your bath. Things like that, where I still stick to routine 100%. So, and hopefully I could be okay tonight. I'm going to hyper-fixate on the way to the show and seeing Run the Jewels and Wu-Tang Clan, and I know it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to be hyper-fixated on it, and when I get there, it's going to be crazy. But then as soon as Killer Mike and LP come out, homeboy, everything changes, and now I'll be hyper-fixated on what's going on with the show and everything like that, and I'm excited. So, Aaron, lots of love. That's awesome. That's a great, great question, because so many of us go through that, and maybe that helps, and maybe talking about it helps a lot too. So the third question is Julie. Julie wants to know, looking back at your journey in the professional world, when did ASD help you win? Damn, that's a good positive one. When did it help me win? That's weird. I don't know what trophies I get for my professionalism, but here's the thing. I will get into that, so let's do it. A breathe in and a breathe out. I'm going to do with that win. I'm appreciative right now of the fact that I have a massive, massive Rolodex of filmmakers and musicians that I could reach out to. And this is a true story, and I'm not bragging, but it's the Academy Awards 2025. And the film Anora just won 5 Academy Awards. I've worked with the director, writer, producer, editor, Sean Baker, and I have worked together. And my producer, Darren, has come from a Sean film. And I've known Sean for a while now. And it was so crazy to see a friend of mine win an Academy Award and break a record that is Best Editor, Best Writer, Best Director, and Best Film. That has never been done before. And then, Best Actress. what happened not even 13 hours later after he won the Academy Award, we're texting back and forth, and I get a text from Sean Baker, and he's going to be in Orlando. And so that is something that doesn't happen to anybody ever. And it's something that I don't bring to the podcast. That's a win, because still in my heart, these are people that I've worked with. These are actors directors, filmmakers that I never actually would ever say, does Sean Baker want an Academy Award? I think he'd rather have like an Independent Spirit Award first. And then he did. He's done well with the Independent Spirit Awards. But it's one of those things like, how far would Sean go? And he did it. To say that I've been on tour with At the Drive-In and Jimmy World, and I played kickball with the Get Up Kids, or there's just so many things that in my professional world, what has been a win. And I think it is being able with my ASD, going back to like being hyper focused and things like that. I think just, man alive, I think just being there for the person that is either going to be on stage, that's going to make their next film. Because y'all don't really know. I had a record store for a couple years. Then I went to film school, and then I went on tour during film school. I had a music video on MTV, two music videos from two amazing bands. I'm trying to think, 3? I don't know. But they're being able to be with these bands and do so much with them, and then getting into the film world and being in programming. Another one of my favorite stories is being at a festival. There was a short film that got submitted, and it was on the shorts program. I wasn't on the committee, but it was a film that got overlooked. 50-50. Two people on the jury gave it higher than a 7, and then 2 other people on the jury, the other 2, gave it a 2 or a 1. They said it was the worst thing they ever seen, and the other 2 were like, this should play at the festival. So it was up to me to look at it and to be a deciding factor. And I looked at the film and said, this is incredible. And I had my production assistant, or not production, but they call them interns. I hate that word, but it was a programming assistant that came in, and she watched the film with me too. And she said, this was really funny. And I said, well, does this play midnight? No, because there's vomiting. But at the same time, I think this could actually like tail end a shorts program. So I decided on that Saturday to call the filmmakers, the Lab of Madness. I called Chris Sharp, the producer. And luckily, not only when I called him did he pick up, and when I said, hey, Chris, this is Brian Quain, I'm with the Florida Film Festival, I hear this like over the speaker, like, hey, Brian. Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna ask him. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I go, hey, Chris, this, how's everything going? He goes, good. Hey, I just want to let you know, I have Jeremy, the writer-director, with Macon, who's the lead actor. I go, yeah. He goes, we're all having like a cookout right now in Brooklyn. I was like, what? I'm like, hey, tell everybody I say hi. So I asked, I was like, where has this film played before? He goes, nowhere. No, we haven't played anywhere yet. And I'm like, oh, where else have you submitted? And he tells me like Denver and a few other places. And I was like, yeah, man, I just want to let you know this film, I think it could play. I really do. And I said, would you guys be willing to come to the festival? They did. Jeremy showed up. The writer-director, Jeremy Saulnier, showed up. Macon Blair, who is your lead actor and co-writer of the film, and Chris came. And I met the Lab of Madness, and from there we were inseparable. I actually flew to New York because I had another film I was working on, and I wanted Macon to help me co-write it and be in it because Kumar Palana of the Wes Anderson craze, he was in Royal Tenenbaums. He was Mr. Little Jeans in Rushmore. And Kumar and I became friends, and we were working together on something, and I wanted this to be something that Macon was going to be doing with him. But I got so focused on doing my own thing of film festivals that I never made the short with Macon. And they went on to do a movie called Murder Party, and then they did Blue Ruin. And if you saw Rebel Ridge, that's on Netflix right now, just go watch it. I gave Lab of Madness their first ever premiere with their movie Crab Walk. And that is one of my favorite things ever. Being so willing to work with such creativity. So many actors and actresses, if you go through my phone, there's so many times where people say, hey, why not put that actress who was in Hunger Games on your show or like on your podcast? Hey, let's not even get into the names. The fact that I was able to have Tony Bourdain be a friend and see his tisms. By God, Rich, we need to do that episode. So, of like things I've realized and hearing other people's stories in a biography I just listened to about Tony Bourdain. Yeah, man, a lot of people saw Tony the same way I did, and it was really interesting to think like, oh my God, shit, yeah, no, that dude was definitely on the spectrum. So, I miss him dearly, but at the same time, it was one of those things like, holy shit, that's crazy. My ASD has helped me stay, I think, focused with so many good people. And I can't thank them enough for believing in me, helping them with crowdfunding if needed, helping them with their next film, being in situations where I'm doing Q&As, not Quain and Autisms, but really question and answers, moderating Q&As. My friend Jamie Ponsolt, who I think is a phenomenal writer-director. Please, he's done shows like Shrinking, he's done a lot. I'm trying to think of what that one was called on Amazon. I read the book, and I think, he does just such good shit. Like, Jamie's so good. Jamie's so good. James Ponsolt, watch everything he does. My buddy, the Duplass brothers, it's like the Duplasses are great people. And it's just, I've stayed in touch with these people to make sure, like, always keeping up on them. And it's more or less because of the love of it all and not because it's like, hey, how can I do this to help myself get this. And so maybe that time is coming, and it's time to reach out and be like, hey, y'all, like, I'm doing this. So I think ASD, the more I learn, I think it's the creativity side of it, and it's the hyper-focusing, and I think it's all that it's helped me do so much in the creative world. Would I be good at a 9-to-5? No, not at all. But I could definitely help you if you did the right accommodations for people that are on the spectrum when it comes to a 9-to-5. Maybe allowing people come in an hour early. Come in an hour early where it's quiet. You can get more work done in that hour to build you up for the day, so you're not exhausted by 11 o'clock. You'll be exhausted by 1 o'clock. So things like that could help you throughout your day. But, I was a trainer at a big tech company, and I think my ASD allowed me to be very approachable. And when it came to, ask Brian about this. Quain will know this. He'll know this. And I was the most approachable person, I think, in many ways. It's because I also did so well in helping so many people when it came to their passions, when it came to a phone or a tablet or something like that, but definitely also when it came to MacBooks and stuff like that. So, yeah. And I think that really does, when it comes to ASD, I think that really helps. I think that really helps in a professional world if you do know what you're capable of and also know your boundaries. So now knowing that I have ASD, I think it is some of those things that I want to get into an episode. And Julie, I think you opened up a great door of saying yeah, I've had successes and I think it's awesome. But at the same time, let's build you up for success as well. And I think that's something that definitely needs to come out. So this has been a half-hour episode. That's what I wanted to do with this, right? I wanted to do a half hour, a little Q&A, Quain and Autism. Let's do that. So as I brought Julie into it, I cannot not let the love of her life and his life, being Julie. Rich, you asked a question, and yours is definitely, you motherfucker, I love you, dude. But comfort meals daily versus on the go versus pre-made in a store. Food is so important to me. So, I do have favorites. When it comes to food. And it is that routine, spicy food is a must. I need that overstimulation when it comes to it. So meals daily could be beans and rice. I'm telling you right now, I make an amazing black beans and rice with fresh garlic, fresh onions, fresh green peppers, a flavored black beans. And then easily, I'm going to tell you right now, don't shop at Target, but when you do, Target has the best. It's an orange just basically rip open a tab, throw it in the microwave for 90 seconds. It's an orange bag of long grain rice. You salt that a little. You put those black beans and rice over it. Tons of hot sauce that I do from a jalapeno, a habanero, and anything. Like I even have a Merlot hot sauce that I put on there. That's just damn straight. It's my probably every day that I go to. On the go. When it's on the go, I think Crustables, and you son of a bitch, Uncrustables or whatever they're called. He stole that from me. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich is the best go-to at any time. And Rich did say he could eat those frozen, as I can too. So I wonder if that's a thing, as well as some of us that are on the spectrum. If you could eat a Crustable frozen, I actually tend to like them a little better because the jelly is not so sugary, crunchy, grainy. I think it's because it's frozen and it comes out like a good, like little, maybe like a Starbursty feel. And then pre-made in the store, I'll be honest, man, I need my spinach wraps, my veggie spinach wraps from Publix. It is a big store here in the South, and they're known for making the best subs. Pub subs is what people call them here. If you ever come to Orlando and you don't want to feel like a tourist, you just go wherever you are and go, man, I need a pub sub right now. People are like, yeah, you're from Orlando. You're from Florida. Pub sub is like, you're going in and you're just like, hey, I need a pub sub. They're like, yeah, you're from here. So there you go. Wink, wink. So a spinach wrap or a veggie on white with extra mayo and a double on the Swiss cheese. That is my favorite. That is my go-to for a pre-made 100%. And I think we've had 2 or 3 of those in the last week. So that's probably why I'm saying that. I want to thank everybody. Those were 4 great questions. Like, honestly, 4 great questions. And I'm glad I could answer them. And I gave you less than 13 hours to ask, and a few questions came in, and I'm glad I could answer them. So thank you. We're going to do this again, and it might be through another avenue, maybe a Patreon or something like that. I don't know yet. But I want you guys, I want everybody, y'all, no guys and gals, so guys, gals, y'all, to ask any questions you have. And where you can do this and where I asked was on Threads and on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, follow us at Reason to Podcast. Just find us. You'll see our little logo with me in the cartoon form, my Choose Your Own Adventure flyer that I made that became our logo. And then you could also email me at any time, reason2podcast@gmail.com. Find us there. And also, like I said, a Patreon's coming. So I think I'm just going to finish that today anyway. I got time before we run the jewels. I thank you all for everything that you're doing, for knowing that you have a safe place, a safe space to ask these questions, and to know that we are here for you. So 100%, I love quoting this every time that I can, and I just want to say we are wired differently, we are thriving always, but we are proudly autistic. That is us. Now, for those who are neurotypical, if you want to say you have a normal brain, I know not all of us do have a normal brain. I know sometimes we overthink everything. But if you're neurotypical and you're taking the time to listen and say the word ally if you want to, but you want to learn more about those on the spectrum, if you have a family member, if you have a coworker, a best friend, or if you just want to know more because you're hearing stuff in the news, we are here for you and we thank you. So thank you. Listen to our Neuro Mixed Mondays, that's where a neurotypical Casey sits with a neurodivergent me, and we get a little spicy. So, well, not like that, but because I have a neurospicy brain. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, everybody. I hope this is an awesome episode for y'all. Let me know what you think of it, because we want to do more of it, and I will definitely see you next week with a Neuro Mixed Monday. Thanks, y'all.